Hey everyone, it's Sarah from the Last Stitch. In the last 3 years, I've done over 100 sewing videos, including a lot of sewing tips that you usually don't find in most sewing books and in pattern instructions. So in celebration of that, I want to share with you my top 10 sewing tips. So this is basically a best of. So let's take a look.
Getting the waistband on the inside to look as neat as the outside on trousers. Well, that is kind of tricky, but I have a really good solution for that, and that is to use the washable double-sided Wondertape that you will find in most Notion stores. It's really simple. I will link to that product in the description section, and all you need to do is attach it on the seam allowance, fold it inwards, press, and then top stitch over. This will result in a very nice, neat inner seam on any waistband. An awl is an excellent tool to mark dots and pleats without having the hassle of tracing paper or pens that you won't get rid of once you've done the marking. This is such a fantastic tool. All you need to do is to pierce some tiny holes inside the seam of a dot or a pleat, and then you cut little snippets at the edge of the fabric to also mark where the fabric should fold. Easy, right? I've also done a separate video about this technique you can check out. Link will of course be in the description section. Use a pressing template made out of paper to create razor sharp patch pockets. These are especially excellent when you are sewing jeans back pockets, because you know those corners, they're quite hard to get razor sharp. But by using this paper template, you just press around the edges and you'll be amazed on how easy and quick this method is. Did you know that using a piece of Lego will help you sew straighter? Yes, and this works both on a regular sewing machine and a cover stitch machine. And if you're curious on how to attach it, well, use the sticky blue tack and attach it to the bed of the sewing machine and you're all set to go. To avoid stretched out upper layers, especially when you're sewing with knits and slinky fabrics such as silk, use an awl to gently move the upper layer of the fabric towards the presser foot when you're stitching. Use this whenever you're hemming or top stitching and you'll be amazed on how flat the seam will look. Use a paper template when you're top stitching the zipper. This will eliminate all the needs for marking and you can reuse the same template over and over. Just attach it with some tape and you're all set to go. Another tool to help you sew straighter, which is sadly very underutilized, I've noticed, is to use a quilt ruler. And this tool is definitely not just for quilters, because what it does is that it will help you sew straighter, which is especially useful if you're having like a wide hem, because you know the wider the hem, the harder it will be to sew straight. So you just attach the quilting ruler in the slot on your sewing machine, adjust the length, and then you're ready to go. This is such a fantastic tool. I cannot speak highly enough of it. And if you have it in your stash and have not used it yet, you should definitely give it a go. Sometimes it's hard to find a heavy-duty top stitching thread in the exact color that you're looking for. So my tip there is to actually use regular sewing thread, but 2 spools. You can also wind them on 2 bobbins and put them on top of each other. And if your sewing machine has 2 slots, you just add a spool on each slot. And this, when it's sewn, it will look really similar to a regular top stitching thread. In fact, I don't think you'll ever notice, and definitely no one else will notice. So that's a really good tip if you can't find top stitching thread in the exact color that you're looking for. Hemming stretchy knits on a regular sewing machine. Well, it can be kind of tricky because you cannot control the feed the same way as you can do with a serger or a cover stitch machine. But the good news is that by using the water-soluble Wondertape, you can actually control the hem in a really great way. So what you do is you just attach the tape on the inside of the hem, you fold it up, stitch over, and rinse away, and this will control the fabric and result in a much nicer hem than you would have done without the tape. So I highly recommend that you use Wondertape when you're sewing with stretchy knits. Some fabrics have a tendency of growing a lot, especially when they cut on the bias, and of course stay stitching is the best way to prevent this. But sometimes the damage is already done, and a great way of getting the fabric to return to its original shape is to use something that is called finger pressing, which means that you place your index finger behind the presser foot and then you press like a fold of the fabric towards the presser foot while you're also sewing, and then you just build up a little bit of fold, release it, build up a little fold, release it, and this will actually get the fabric back into shape.
So these were my top 10 sewing tips. I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course you can go back and watch the videos where I shared these tips initially. You get more information, and I'd also love to know, of course, what are your favorite sewing tips. Please share in the comment section. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.